A portal has opened, and we are here to negotiate a settlement. A global pandemic has ravaged the globe. Your president says you need 500 billion. Your country was already over-indebted before the crisis. Your continent continues to be exploited by global elites. Your world is out of sync with nature as the deadly virus spreads. We have the power to make your wildest dreams an immediate reality. If the council offers you their good faith, tell us, where do you imagine we begin?
Inhale the essence of Gaia's breath. Flow with the waters of her depth, grounded in a sacred place. The winds of change against your face we must pray. Ons moet bid. Kufuneka sitandaze. We call upon our ancestors who planted the seeds for us and nourished the soil with their sacrifices. You sustain us, we must pray. Ons moet bid. Kufuneka sitandaze. We call upon our teachers who guide us from another side. Your lessons, gems we carry in our spirit's crown, we thank you. You showed us how to love. Love that will unbind us. Love that will unite us. Love that will prepare us. Love that will guide us. Love will heal us. We are healed by your love. Love will heal us. We are healed by your love. We are healed. We are healed.
It begins, and no pun intended, with a very sober moment. A long overdue moment of reflection and hopefully a majority consensus that the systems that govern our lives are fucked, and us along with it. Politics is bad entertainment but deadly. The global economy creates and sustains inequality. Religions speak of love while waging war. You and I are simply zeros and ones divided, and justice is buried in a shallow grave of prefixes and adjectives. It begins with a call to arms, not to wage war nor to deconstruct and destroy, but to understand that to heal the trauma of thousands of years of systemic oppression and corruption requires an effort of hundreds of thousands over many, many years, and it is possible. The fears and the chains that keep us in check are old, rusted and fragile. It will not take more than an intentional shrug to free ourselves from the burdens of the past, to reimagine our birthright, to allow ourselves to be more than obedient subjects, cowering in fear. To begin with, plant a garden and allow the children to be more than successful materialistic consumers.
Don't panic, and then proceed to panic while you tell yourself not to panic. And then do that for a couple of days. And once that's over, and you've read for 3 days scrolling through social media and various trustworthy and untrustworthy news sources, you then start to reach out to friends and family and people in your community. You talk to your neighbor you never spoke to before, and you start a WhatsApp group in your area, and on a local level you'll start to figure out what's actually going on and identify vulnerable people that you can partner with and that you can help. And then you sit back and you think about what to do tomorrow.
Mr. Monopoly Man, how funny it is that you find your name in the game of Monopoly, represented by our capitalist reality. The extraction of finite resources in the hands of a few, increased rents, arbitrary arrests, and payment demands. We know that the pandemic has made the existing inequalities of your monopoly more pronounced, but we also know we have power. You cannot extract wealth without us. Not only that, our feminist mass mobilization of the past year in South Africa, Chile, Ecuador, Lebanon, Sudan, Egypt, Iran shows that we have power to bring you and your austerity measures to your feet. You are afraid of us. And so we demand not an extension of debt and not debt forgiveness. We demand debt justice. We will collectively default on your unjust debts that you have used to starve our public infrastructure in solidarity with feminists around the world. And if you do not listen, we will mobilize as we have always done and begin the downfall of your unjust economic system. You cannot survive without us.
Challenge 1. We learn from history and decide the future we want. After the Great Depression and World War, China and the United States took very different paths. At this time, 1 rand was worth more than $1. Of these two economies, one economy closed itself to the world and focused on manufacturing and labor. One economy opened up and invested in innovation and invention. And all the things we use today in a modern home came from such a time. At this time, people need something to get behind. People feel drained but are ready to put the work in. Council, hear me. Give loans to businesses, new and existing, to fund their expansion plans in research and development, to open new frontiers so that we can set our own open road to a bright future.
I will start with food security, map out local small-scale producers, farmers, hawkers, and spaza shops, procure from them to make packages, food parcels for the local communities, not move food from big retailers into the communities. Make sure that every household that receives a package grows their own vegetables and herbs, buy from them the excess that they are not consuming. And I will also put money in the hands of the people and not the banks who are pushing people into more debt. I will create zero interest revolving funds for small businesses for them to bounce back. I will also make sure that the banks don't give people payment holidays that have to be paid later, but that they're giving relief, and government has to ensure that, but they too have got insurance. I will also focus on decentralized funding programs for the various entrepreneurs. I will invest in a public healthcare system. This is the time. Let's strengthen it. Let's make sure that no more private facilities. Thank you.
We take the 500 billion. We first figure out what our biggest emergencies are and then distribute the rest of the funds to each suburb based on population size and wealth. Gaining the trust of the community we do by allowing each suburb to elect their own committee of people that they trust. Each suburb can start sustainable gardening and farming projects. We can put all the unemployed to work. Let's have police accountability. Break them up into working for the community through the committees. Get the drugs off the street and deploy more assistance to rehab and counseling services. Capping wealth at 10 billion means wealth can be redistributed and completely eradicate poverty. Banks and landlords need to put on pause all loans, bonds, and rental. Basic services need to get to an eventuality of being free. Libraries and schools need to adapt to online learning, free internet, free printing, and free online teaching. The government needs to supply everyone with education on how to keep safe. There was no real exit plan for the lockdown, so everyone needs to be looked after until the time where the dangers have subsided.